Good morning. Welcome to day 3. And thank you guys for giving me a day. It wasn't the day I expected because my daughter ended up waking up in the middle of the night sick. So it didn't go according to my plan, but I just kept praying. I'm like, okay, Lord, just help me to go with the flow. Like, just help me to continue to follow your lead, whatever this day brings. And here I am today. So, funny story, I decided I wanted to go for another hike today. So, I put on my long socks, I put on a t-shirt and like one of my pullover jacket things with the zipper, because usually those are warm. I put on my gloves, I was wearing a hat. It was too cold. It's the first time I've ever, hey Lana, it's the first time I've ever quit a hike in my life. I was like my teeth were chattering, my lips, were like I'm sure they were blue. I felt like they were gonna fall off. I felt like my fingers hurt. Just to put the keys in ignition, I was like, oh my gosh, are they gonna break? It was so cold. And it was only 43, but there was this giant gust of wind coming down the path that I was climbing. And there was no sun. There was sun out, but not where I was. There was 2 hills, surrounding me. So I tried so hard to keep going, and I even started running with snow. I was like, okay, maybe if I run, I'll get warmed up and it'll be okay. And no, I was like, sorry, snow, we got to go back. I'm freezing. And then I put the heater on in my car for 5 minutes before I even left. I was just trying to defrost. So then I came home and I did another workout, and it actually warmed me up really well. I was like, all right, cool. And I actually took a shower. So all is well. Oh, and Cadence is back at school. She woke up. She's like, Mom, I'm better. I feel so good. And I was like, oh, thank you, God, because that's what I was praying. But I really didn't think it was going to happen. I know, shame on me. But I was like, I don't know. And then she went, and I haven't got a call, so I'm assuming everything's great. So, welcome again. Yay, I know, to day 3. 1 day late, right? No big deal. I hope that you guys have had time to reflect and go over the first 2 lessons, just about witnessing your fear, and the power that alone has. Because, we're all at different, walks in our life, right? We're all maybe on a different step. And so we don't have to be on the same step together. But so any step that you take, any progress that you make is good, and so maybe you just witnessed your fears. Maybe you didn't rewrite them yet, but there's power in just witnessing them and realizing, oh, these are actually fears of mine that are affecting my life. What do I want to do about that, right? So, then the next day we went over rewriting those fears and kind of talking about, we expounded on them a little bit, okay, why do I have that fear? Where's that fear coming from? And kind of doing some digging and investigating, and then clearing it out with truth, right? So I remember yesterday, some of the things was someone was really nervous and anxious about going into a new environment, like it's not her store. It had to do with work, and she was like, oh, I just hope I'm afraid of failing. I don't want to mess up. And we talked about how the fear of failure is a huge across the board failure. I truly believe everyone has that fear to some degree. Some maybe are stronger than others, but I think we can all relate to the fear of failure, right? Lana, I'm so happy you're here. I'm glad I don't have to talk to myself. That is awesome. That's always a blessing. So, thank you for being here. And we even talked about, like we talked about loud noises, big crowds, and I said that what I've noticed most of the time is, one, it's either, the fear of the unknown, like there's so many people here, I don't know how to predict who's going to do what, am I safe, right? And then the other one with the noises and stuff, it can be like what we talked about, like we just want some quiet time. Aw, thanks. We just want some quiet time. We just want time to think, and maybe we haven't had it for a few hours, and our brain just like starts reacting. We're just kind of like, and so we start feeling anxious, and we don't necessarily know why. But you see, slowing down and going, now why would I feel anxious about lots of noise? Why would that make me feel anxious? And what we came up with the other day was that sometimes it's because it makes us so that we can't think. And when we can't think our own thoughts, that is an anxious situation. And I've had many, many stories of that in my life. One was last Easter. I was really excited. My cousin and some of my family members were coming to town for my dad's Good Friday choir, and they were singing in it with me. Like, I was like super excited. I couldn't wait. I was looking forward to it. And that day I was a wreck. Like, nothing happened the way I planned. Like, I wasn't planning on having my girls with me, and I did. And so like there was not one moment, like one solitary moment that I was by myself. And I didn't know why I was feeling anxious, but I realized later, oh, that's what it was. Like, I got a headache. Like, it just got bad. Like, I couldn't smile. I was just, I don't know. I just got like really messed up, and I was mad at myself. Because I'm like, I want to enjoy this, and now I'm all freaking out. And so my point of saying all that is that I understand those feelings, and I know that you guys have them too. And so to find comfort in the fact that it's not just you. And I always find that comforting. Like, oh my gosh, it's not just me. Yay! And so books that I read, things like that, or things that I listen to, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. It's not just me. Yay! So that's why I love this community and doing these things with you guys, because I really feel like it's super helpful. Like, it's helpful for me, like on the receiving end, and I feel like people really connect with it. The authenticity and the honesty, it's missing, like it's lacking in our society right now. And so I think people are really drawn to honesty and authenticity today, just because it's kind of like faded away. It's all a show or whatever. So you can always guarantee I'm going to be honest with you here. So we're going to move into day 3, which is creating faith-based affirmations. And so, of course, I want to be able to share with you why we're going over this. And I kind of haven't given affirmations as much credit as they're due, but not on purpose. It's just like they're such a part of my life that, when something's a part of your day-to-day, you just kind of stop thinking about the impact it has. But whoa, like affirmations have really, really benefited my life in a big way. And I totally see the power of affirmations, and I am 100% behind them. Whereas before, when my friend was saying, oh, well, you should do affirmations, I'm like, what the heck is that? Like, I didn't believe in it. I was like, okay, I'm just going to tell myself these things and I'm going to feel better. Like, what? But no, they are a super helpful tool in repatterning your brain and repatterning your mind. And let me take a sip here. I'm sorry, I'm cold. So they are a very helpful tool in repatterning your mind. And you might think, oh, that sounds like hooey. That sounds really far-fetched. That sounds cheesy, whatever. Whatever your objection may be, I had them all. I had all of those. but I was willing to give it a try because it's kind of like, we always get to that place, or most of us have probably gotten to a place before where we're like, you know what I've been doing hasn't worked. So what's it going to hurt for me to try something new? Right? So that was my take on affirmations. And so I decided, okay, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try it. And when I started, I wasn't that great at them because I didn't really understand it. And so I would like make an affirmation and send it to my friend, and she'd be like, no, this is not a good affirmation. And I was like, what? She's like, it has to be positive. And I was like, it is positive. She's like, no, there's doubt. There's doubt in your, positive affirmation. And I was like, oh. I thought she was just being picky. But then I realized, okay, I totally get it now. So there are two ways to look at affirmations. One can be to instill a truth, to make it stick, right? To make it have power, to make it have motion, to make it a reality in your life, okay? So like the other day when we were rewriting our fears, that is the start of it, right? So you have to have the truth to write an affirmation, or you have to have the truth that you want to have, right? Hi, welcome. Let's see, who is there? Is that Lana coming back? So like the other day when we were going over Ashley's thing about being afraid, we came up with, didn't you, I bet you were moved there. Hi, Lana. I bet you were moved there because you're really good at your job. And she was like, actually, yeah, that is why I was moved there. And I'm like, see? So the truth is, I'm trying to see if I can remember exactly what we told her, that when she starts to feel anxious, or oh my gosh, I'm so nervous, I don't want to mess up, I don't want to, when she's getting out of her car, to be like, I'm really good at my job, that's why I'm here. And just not even addressing oh, I might mess up. Because no, you're really good at your job. And so that's a way to look at actually, I don't need to be nervous because I was sent here because I'm really good at my job and I'm going to help these people. And so it's like a redirection, right? So you get the fear and then you redirect it. You're like, oh, actually, no, this is the truth. So maybe an affirmation for that, right? Truth, faith-based affirmation would be, she could just have a one-line sentence I am really good at my job. I was selected for this job. I add value to my coworkers. Those are some options. Oh, you pushed the back button. Those are some options of some affirmations that she could create from that truth. So Ashley, if you watch this later, feel free to take those. The idea that you want to have, the kind of the standard is it needs to be an I am statement or something where it's it's already true. So it's not I'm going to have lots of courage at my job. See, that's we'll win, right? So, yeah, aren't they good? So that's kind of the idea, is to take the truth and then create a simple affirmation from that truth for yourself so you can tap into the truth and not the fear, right? So you could do, or another exercise with an affirmation is, I always say, hold that fear captive. I mean, yes, that's the way I used to think, but the truth is, and then you say your affirmation. So that's one way, is affirming the truth. That's the idea with an affirmation. But sometimes we come to an affirmation that will serve us, that is for our good, but we don't really wholeheartedly believe it yet because we don't have a lot of proof, but we know it's possible, right? So that's another type of affirmation, and And it's, again, to help repattern your mind from the negative mindset into the positive serving mindset that will actually work in your favor. Whereas the negative one is the same thing. It's a negative phrase that you say to yourself over and over and over again, but you don't think anything of it. You think it's fine, or like it's normal, and you probably don't even realize you say it to yourself. So that, again, is where you're mindful and you're like, oh, I just told myself that I was stupid. Well, that's not true. Like, I am smart and I'm successful. Like, you can say that. And then even that one, like successful, I've had struggle with that before. Like, some of my affirmations start with, I'm a beautiful child of God. I'm healthy in body and mind. My life overflows in abundance. I'm living the life God planned for me. I expand in abundant success and love every day as I inspire those around me to do the same. I arrive on time. Everything works out for my benefit because I follow God's plan. I live in truth. Okay, these I've memorized these, okay? This is like a 2-page document. And I've memorized like probably 3/4 of it by heart, which has been really helpful, because those run in my head instead of the lies or the negative, like, you're so stupid, you always mess it up, you're so, whatever. But like, so success has been one of those ones that's kind of a struggle, because I'm like, well, I need to know what I think success is, right? So you got to get a little bit more curious on some of those, because if you're like, oh, like, I'm successful. Well, what do you define as successful? You have to know that. And then write it down. And then when you say I'm successful, you have your definition of what success is. And you can be like, yes, that's true. That is true. Like, maybe for me, successful is that I show up every day and I'm willing to be of service to God. Like, that could be how I'm successful, right? I'm successful because I follow the promptings of the Holy Spirit, or I'm successful because I never give up, right? Like, you kind of have to know what your definition of success is, because if your definition of success is like, I make $10,000 a month or something, and you don't make $10,000 a month, do you think that affirmation would work? Right? It's not going to make you feel, it's not going to give you like the confidence that you need. It's not going to give you the assurance. You're going to like feel like you're lying to yourself. So in the times that you feel like you're lying, obviously that's not going to work, but there is a way around it. So let's say, is this helpful, Anna? Are you like, I know I keep thinking you get kicked off or something, but is this helpful so far? So let's see. I'm trying to think of, oh, I know. Here's one of mine that I was not okay with. Like, I would say it and I would feel like it just didn't feel good, because I'm like, I don't believe that. So one of my affirmations was, I have a positive relationship with money. That was one of my affirmations. And I said it for a while, not too long, and I'm like, I don't feel like that's necessarily true. I'm working on it, but I don't feel like confident in saying that. So it's super easy. All you have to do in that situation is you get to keep the affirmation, but you add a word, right? So instead of I have a positive relationship with money, it's I'm cultivating a positive relationship with money. And then I can be like, that is true. That is true. I am cultivating a positive relationship with money. I am improving every day. And, and then I can like list examples in my head. And that's how you know your affirmation will work. So if you say something, your mind will go look for the answer. Like, is that true? And if it's not true, you're going to have to tweak it a little bit. But if it is true, you'll feel like, oh yeah, it is true because this, and this. And it'll just pop up in your head. That's an awesome thing about how affirmations work, is like you're actually spending time talking to yourself in a positive way. And it's when you ask yourself questions, your mind seeks the answer. It really does. So you can do that too. That's another way, like another practice you can do when you're creating your own affirmations. So for the challenge today, and I have a few more that I'm going to share with you because they're just beautiful and I just really want to share them. But for the challenge today, I want you to come up with 5 homemade affirmations of your own. Okay, so use what you've already had, use the work you've been doing. Like, here's some of my fears, here's the truth that I've written around these fears, and now I'm going to create affirmations that tap into that truth. So I know I'm talking kind of fast, but do you see like that progression, like the steps? To know what affirmations to say, you need to know what you're like wanting to affirm. You need to know what you're trying to like improve or whatever, in your life. And yeah, so does that sound good, Lana? You think you can come up with 5 affirmations that you wrote on your own, and then post them under the video? I don't think anybody's posted any assignments in this group, but when you're here live, it's kind of cool. I mean, it's like still works as the same because I know that you're like thinking about it. But anyway, I'm moving this a little bit so I can read this. Okay, so this is from my faith-based affirmation like PDF guide that I've created. And this is, you can come up with 5. They can even be like around the same thing even. You might have 5 affirmations for just like one thing, or 2 things or whatever. This is something that, what I'm about to read to you, this is something that I have for sale in my, like on my website. And it's also something that will be available for free in the Fired Up membership within the library section. So kind of cool that you'll be able to have this resource right here. Because the reason why I like this is because it's not just affirmations. It gives you situations that, very common situations and emotions that you deal with, and then affirmations for those. So for example, and I've given you guys some of these before, that you that are in Unstuck with me. I said, first ask to be in line with God's will, and then believe that you are. So that's actually a really big deal right there, is believing like, okay, I've asked to be in his will, now I am. Because he says ask and you'll receive, right? So like, okay, I want to be in your will, God, and that's very important to him because he has the best for us. So he wants us to want his way, right? Once you've done that, I encourage you to remind yourself that you are in line with God's will, which is what I'm doing today. And your affirmation is, I am in line with God's will. Everything that happens today is part of his plan. And see, I think we did this, Lana, right? So that is one of them. And then I say, observe how you feel when you say this. Write it down, take a quick note in your phone if that's easier, whatever. Another one I have is about mistakes, right? So we all make mistakes. I make them all the time. It feels really awful when I make a mistake. Like I usually do this, like I grab my head. That's usually my standard. My stomach can twinge. Like I feel like, oh gosh, like if I like, oh my gosh, I totally messed up, I can feel like knots and stuff like that. So maybe you guys will recognize, oh yeah, I get like that if I've messed up or made a mistake. So to get through these negative feelings and distract us, or even stop us in our tracks, it's best to release them to God. Like, okay, God, I'm sorry I made a mistake. I'm feeling really horrible about it, like even physically. And I just surrender those feelings to you right now. And then comfort yourself with this affirmation, which I'm going to post today, which is, mistakes are part of the plan. I am forgiven. I am loved. And I read this morning as I was going over this, and it made me feel so good. Like when I read something that really connects with me, I actually am like, like I just take it in and I smile and I breathe. Like it's just like my natural reaction. And I love when that happens because that means I know it really connected with me. Like I didn't just say it, like I understood it. So mistakes are part of the plan. That's comforting right there. I am forgiven. I am loved. Super, super powerful. Super comforting. Everybody that has used this guide has found it extremely helpful. They're like, oh my gosh, those were amazing. So again, then I ask you to observe how you feel. And I will do one more. Let's see. Sometimes we are going through a struggle or just feeling down. It's because we have, I need this one. We have forgotten who we are. Marianne Williamson talks about this in one of her books. And I was like blown away. It was an audiobook I was listening to. I think it was the 4 Spiritual Laws of Divine Compensation, something like that. I think that's what it is. The Law of Divine Compensation. And so she was saying that when we feel that way, it's because we've forgotten who we are. And I was like, that makes so much sense. So not like truly forgotten, but like in the moment we've forgotten, we've been distracted, we've been pulled away, we've been pulled out of alignment, etc. Right? So next time you feel unhappy or out of sorts, remind yourself of who you are. You are a beautiful child of God. You are healthy in body and mind. I even use this when I'm under the weather sometimes, which hasn't been in a long time, so let's not even think about it. But I'll say, no, I'm healthy in body and mind. And like connect with my healthy self, you know? And I recover really quickly. So even sickness can be a lie from the enemy. So remind yourself of who you are and use this affirmation. I'm a beautiful child of God. I am healthy in body and mind, right? So, for instance, like I said, like maybe you don't feel 100% certain, like, I don't know if I can say that. Add this, like I'm cultivating a healthy body and mind, you know? I'm getting healthier and healthier every day. And you can think about, oh yeah, I did this, I took a walk, I cut a sugar, I added a veggie. Like you can think of things that prove that you are on that path to a healthier body and mind, right? Or like, yes, that's true because I've been saying affirmations. I've been working daily in Unstuck, and that is all about working on my mind and my health. Like, I mean, see what I mean? Like if you add, I'm cultivating, and then it allows you to go, oh yeah, that actually is true. And here's why, right? And cultivating just means you're working on it. Cultivating means that you're practicing what you want. You're practicing the things that you're trying to like make become the new, not the new you. You know what I'm saying, right? You're practicing on the things that are going to increase more joy, more happiness, more contentment in your life, right? So, there's more here, but it's 10:30. I could be right on time if I end now. I feel like I've given you guys a lot of good information. I feel like I broke it down pretty clearly, but if you forget something or you're like, wait, what did you say was next or whatever, please comment. I started getting a phone call. I declined. So, you know, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I will 100% respond to them. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for watching the replay. And, yeah, I know this will serve you. And it really isn't that hard. It's just, again, taking that little effort, that little sacrifice for yourself, right? We sacrifice for everybody else, but we don't often sacrifice for ourselves. And see, so I'm cultivating that too. You guys, my eye keeps itching. So please have a blessed day. Please connect with me. Let me know how this is working for you. And please post 5 affirmations that you've created for yourself today. And if they need any, like if you want to know, like, oh, is this good? Let me, I'll gladly say, oh, why don't you change the wording a little bit like this? Like, I'll help you refine it. So, yeah, have a wonderful day. Have a happy Thursday. And that's it. Take care.